Albert from either child?
No.
And what are you asking as a court order in regards to visitation?
Visitation? I don't want to put either one of the families, not the Alberts or my family, in the middle of anything. I want a mediator, somebody like Jenny Rios perhaps, somebody that's going to let our family deal with it.
Are you asking that for the time being that the protective order stay in
Yes.
place? And why are you asking that?
Because I fear Randy.
You still have a fear,
Yes.
and you believe that something will, that he will manifest that hostility towards you in some way.
Yes.
As to support, I'll get to that now. Have you received any assistance at all from Randy since the day you left?
No.
And has he offered you anything or said anything to you about what he might could do to help with Allison?
No, because I'm not allowed to talk to Randy.
Have you expenses coming up for Allison?
School, yes.
And are you asking for something to determine what that assistance should be?
I have. She was talking to her dad on the phone. He managed to get her phone to her. I think the request was 1 backpack and 4 shirts. But as far as school supplies and her shoes and whatnot, I've done taking care of that myself.
As to income, what is your monthly income is easily determinable from your paycheck?
Right.
Is that correct?
I don't want anything from Randy.
Well, you said child support.
Well, child support, but as far as anything pertaining to myself, I don't want anything.
But the reason why I'm asking this is to get to your income is easily discernible.
Yes.
Okay? What about Randy's income?
It's cash only, so his will be hard to determine what his income is.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Has he ever talked to you about his finances?
No.
Has he ever been able to provide the household?
Some, but not a lot.
And are you asking that he be, what do you think would be fair to attribute to him as income per month?
I don't quite
Well,
understand.
minimum wage is like a little over $1,100. Do you think he makes at least minimum wage?
No.
You don't think he makes the
No.
minimum wage? So, if the law specifies that he be put in at minimum wage, do you think that'd be the fair amount?
Yes.
As to any orders concerning anything else, do you have any items in your house that he needs?
He may have some clothes, shoes, tools, that if he needs to get to help with income, then he can, yeah.
Make arrangements
Yes.
to do that? And do you have any problem with him getting any of his personal items?
As long as there's somebody that comes with him.
As to everything else, particularly we aren't going to talk about the division of house, the division of anything else. We're only talking about, are there any expenses of the house you need any assistance with?
No.
So, your request would be that there be some kind of supervised visitation from a third party outside of your family.
Yes.
That visitation or that, that amount be set for him to pay for child support, and you are basically telling us you haven't received anything since. When's the last time you received anything for the benefit of your daughter?
Not since he's left, which was June 25th.
So you would ask for some kind of order that would be at least retrospective to July 1st.
Correct.
And you're asking that the court looks at this for a final hearing sometime after the 90 days run?
Yes, if not sooner, yes.
Well,
I know.
it may be sooner, but you understand that, you're not obliged to do anything to try to reconcile, but, if there is something that really isn't an issue.
Yes.
And it's basically your decision individually and collectively. Alright. So, as to the protective order, you asking for a permanent protective order?
Yes,
And you are asking that, temporary order issued or you be granted custody of your child,
yes,
and that he be allowed supervised visitation supervised by some third party.
yes.
I have nothing else to add.
Okay. Mr. Albert, you may ask questions that relate to what she testified about, and you can ask them from the podium if you'd like. And if question is improper, I'm sure Mr. Brooks will interpose an objection, at which time you'll not speak anymore until I rule on the objection, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I wanted to provide dates since 2025, and I brought Allison back. Is that correct?
Yes, you did.
You're back. I don't even know what questions to ask. Such an awkward situation. You know, I've cried for 40 days since this has happened, and I'm the only one that's had her child more than me, and there's been so much that I'd like to talk to you about. I think that this cross-examination is not something that it would be better just me trying to state what's on these documents here and try to explain. My boy's here from college today, took off work, and he's come all the way down here to take his little sister's side of this. On my first domestic violence charge in 2004, my boy wrote the statement out in front of Mark Albert, and he was only 11 years old. This kid just finished on the Dean's Honor Roll after his third year at UCO, and he never even had a traffic ticket. I never even spanked a child his whole life, and he loves his mother more than anything.
Mr. Albert.
I understand but he's gone from asking questions to now.
I'm not trying to cross her.
Mr. Albert, I'm going to sustain the objection, which means that I'm saying that the objection proper, I'm agreeing with the objection. Now, I can't, tell you how to handle your case, you understand. It's not my role to act as advisor to you. However, you may want to ask questions that relate to things that you feel like she may have said, had testified to you that,
Right.
that you may disagree or dispute.
Right.
And you might start in that area.
Right.
Can't think of anything, then we'll proceed.
On the morning that this happened, it happened twice with the dog. The first time I come in, the dog was in the street, and it's a 1-year-old Maltese. I brought the dog in, we go laying on the couch. I went going to road taxi ride, I came back, and the dog was out there again. Said that Allie didn't know she had said that she had got to your mother's, and she had told her not, and she had heard me threaten to kill you if anything happened to our dog. I was just kind of wondering why she's not here today to tell that.
Objection, Your Honor. I object to that.
Overrule, let him finish the question, so at least I know what he's getting at.
I just think that if Sadie had heard Allie say that, she would want to be here to back that up. That Allie's already told our son that she was asleep and didn't.
Okay, so custody while Darlene's having surgery. I trusted Dylan enough not to let I trusted him enough to let Allison go with him. Now, he knew under the circumstances that when he calls you or she calls you, that there has to be somebody present. So whatever was said, I'm not gonna disagree with what was said or was not said. But Randy, what you have to understand is, I did not know that she had overheard what happened that morning until she went to her Nana's. There was nothing that I would ever put in that child's head to make her say such a thing. And you and I both know exactly what was said and what was not said.
She's willing to say that.
That's fine. Let her come to court and say that. That's why she is going to counseling to learn what the truth is and what the truth is not.
So is that a fair statement that her mother's willing to, let the child talk to my lawyer and,
With the counselor, or with her counselor present, because, right.
That would be, very helpful. Just, trying to, get to the bottom of, some things that I'm truly, troubled by. You know, will my son be allowed to, talk today since he's come all the way in from Edmond and doing our work?
Mr. Albert, I think you need to stick with what we're talking about at this moment, which is asking the questions you want to ask
Another
Ms.
thing I
Albert.
wanted to ask, is, she hasn't called me since, Wednesday night, since I, prayed with her on the phone. Just wondering why all of a sudden, phone calls were, stopped.
I've been having to work nights. I'm putting in 50 plus hours now, right now, Randy, being a single mom. I get off 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'm tired, I'm ready for bed, and she's on a curfew. Since school's fixing to start back up, we are on a maintained curfew for school. So I don't find it feasible to have to disrupt our routine to find time to call you.
You know, I, wanted to, say some stuff that led up to the, morning that this.
Objection, Your Honor, that would be for direct examination.
Mr. Albert, you won't be given the opportunity to testify if you choose. Say whatever you want, to be sworn, of course, but I don't know that this is the proper time for you to essentially testify because you're not under oath.
I was just gonna try to ask a question about, something that happened the day prior to this, order being issued. She's, moved her friend in that she, works with, and, they renamed her house the Casa Albert Lloyd on Facebook, and, it seems to be a lot of,
Mr. Albert, just ask your question.
the day prior to this, this, high school sweetheart of yours, Mario, he, you know, you come home from, work and talk to him in the bedroom for 4 hours at a time, with the door locked. Do you deny that?
I don't deny that, Randy, and I've told you time and time again, it's a friendship thing. I've tried to convince you there was no more. When you meet a friend that you haven't seen in 20 odd some years, since high school, I've been out of high school, 30 years, we talk about his kids, his wife, his grandkids. No matter what I try to convince you of how many times nothing was going on, in your mind, you think that there is. So I'm tired. I'm not gonna try to convince you anymore. What's set in your mind is set in your mind.
So that's normal for you to, if I was in our bedroom with the door locked, talking to you.
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Albert, that is argumentative on
Right,
a standing objection.
Another thing, you had said, to me that I was too old and too fat and that you'd lost your virginity to me. Do you admit that?
It's high school, yes. It's high school, yes. I admit every bit of it.
You don't consider that bait in me?
Objection, Your Honor.
That's argumentative as well, that's sustained.
Just think that if I was gonna threaten to kill you, that I would've did it over, something like that to our dog. Whenever this happens.
Objection, Your Honor, he's testifying again.
Just asking a question, if you think that.
I'm gonna give you some room here, Mr. Albert, but ask your question, and let's get this thing done, okay?
4 years ago, in 2010, you got a protective order, and, my dog, come up missing. Are you willing to,
4 years ago, our dog came up missing. We didn't have a dog.
I was kept away from Allie for 48 days 4 years ago. We had a dog named Lucky, and he and Dylan went and got him. Some friends of mine got a good home product.
You had probably 2 days.
What happened to that?
I don't know what happened to that dog, Randy. It was out in the backyard. I don't know.
On the day that Allie came home from, work with you, on, June 17th, I, Howie had come home from, being at work with you and, come in and, said that you were, talking to this guy. I wasn't, that concerned, because I've never, worried about that with you. I was just wondering if, you remember the day, the next day when you found out that she told me, about Mario and that, you, came in from work and you, were so angry with her, you wouldn't even look at her. And, she started, sleeping with me that night, and she slept with you since she was a baby. Are you remembering that?
She sleeps with you
Slept
since
with
when?
you ever since she was born.
Yeah, right. Why would I fear my daughter? Why would I've already told you this. I've been open with you about the whole
She
thing.
started sleeping with me from that.
It bothers you more that I'm more open with you now and have sat there and told you everything from day one, that you still want me to say something that is not
I
true.
just wondered if you would admit that she
No.
started sleeping with me that night and, continued, and she was telling me that she was
She
scared
slept
of
with you that one night and that one night only, from there on. No. So you want me to say that she's scared of me is what you want to say.
I want, you to say that, how many nights she slept with me up until I got, this protective order.
She feels safe with you, Randy. She felt safe with you that night.
For the 25th.
But I didn't.
Every night from there on out.
No, she did not. No, she did not, Randy.
You stated in the protective order that you don't like me taking, her with me to run the taxi, but, when you're in the bedroom with the door locked, talking to a married man for 4 hours, her mother, how else can I ask you how she was?
Randy, not only did I talk to him in the bedroom for hours, I talked to him out on the porch. He's a friend and nothing more.
That's not what he said on the phone Friday when he called me.
Yes, I know.
I read my case, Your Honor, that's, I just wanna get on to where, we're gonna go over some stuff to give my boy a chance to, tell, what he's endured for 20 years, that, is terrifying.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. Any follow-up, Mr. Brooks? All right, thank you, Ms. Albert. Anything else, Mr. Brooks?
Well, I will call Mr. Albert. Ask him one question.
Mr. Albert, if you'll raise your right hand, be sworn, please.
You come up there?
Yes. Please stand and raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear to testify truthfully?
I do.
Did you or did you not, on June 25th, tell your wife that you would kill her if that dog got out of you?
Absolutely not.
All right, what other questions?
Not sure what the point of that was, seems to be some kind of getting,
Since you were sworn, and is there anything else you want to tell the court? This is your chance to tell.
Yes, Your Honor, how much time do I have?
Well, let's get started here and I'll decide how much time we're
Yes,
going
sir, yes,
to
sir,
take,
I've
okay?
got, we'll try to go over,
We'll resume the witness stand and just tell me what you want.
I need to get back up there and
Yes.
go over this stuff right here.
Please.
Okay. All right, I'm still under oath, so take that, that's a very serious, thing. I think about my wedding vows, it's very, serious stuff. Let's see, I'm
No
gonna
matter what
start.
you want me to know about the protective order and matters that regard the temporary order, which, again, deal with questions raised about visitation, how the visitation is intimate, any trouble between now and the marriage hearing, matters regarding child support, for the time being, matters that regard, how much you make, child support amount, things like that you can touch this time, okay?
I would go along with, her recommendation or what she's accepted, I just, feel that, after getting, removed from this home, under these circumstances and having to come up with a place to live, with a handful of clothing for 40 days, not able to see our child, for 57 minutes on the 4th of July after I've, been with this child. Everybody knows that I've been with this child morning, day, and night, Your Honor. To have the generous offer of supervised visitation with Jenny Rios seems to be the worst slap in the face I can ever even wrap my mind around. Don't understand why my mother is not being allowed to have her at our home a while, but even have supervised visitation to sit until we know what my boy has to say and what my daughter's told my boy, and the witness, his witnessing her violent outburst and unbelievable compulsive lying for so many years that through two domestic charges is both dismissed. The details on this one, this statement that he wrote out, Your Honor, I didn't remember exactly what it says till I have to go back to Mark Albert to get a copy of it. If I could read that, it's a one-page statement. This was wrote out in 2004. It says, on the night my dad went to jail, my mom was mad because my dad went to his friends to play pool. When my dad came in, he tried to go to bed. That's all I heard him say, I want to go to bed, but she would not let him. And I went in the living room and standing on the couch, and my mom was trying to hit herself in the stomach because lately she has been threatening us that she is going to kill the baby. And before she admitted that she hit herself in the stomach and killed the first baby before I was born. And around a year ago, she wanted a divorce, so she put bruises on herself and had her friend take pictures to show the judge. I love my mom and dad very much, and I just hope everything gets back to normal. Also, when she is trying to hit herself in the stomach, that's when my dad grabbed her arms and left bruises. My mom gets really angry sometimes and doesn't know what she is doing. Doesn't know what she is doing part, Your Honor, is an understatement. I'm going, here's a copy of a receipt for the counseling that I've started back with our counselor at Diversified Family Services, that we went on our first marriage counseling thing on divorce in 2010 when she moved in with a guy by the name of Bill Brown. That there's to say it's just friends, and there's nothing.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to object to all this part.
I can't approve it.
Mr. Albert, I really, certainly think I understand how you're feeling. However, need to get you focused on perhaps the three issues, whether the protective order can be issue number one, right? Because whether that should be, how visitation should be allowed during this.
I'm going to show you this counseling receipt, and the reason that I'm objecting to the supervised visitation is because I've been with her morning, day, and night, and I think that my boy, what he has to say will weigh on your shoulders as much as anything in this matter, because he's not here to take up for me. He's here to take up for his sister. This is a receipt for Diversified. We went there in 2010, and Carla found that she was bipolar, and I needed anger management. And Carla's talked to both of us a considerable amount of time. I don't know if you've heard of Carla Suter. Does that name ring a bell?
Your Honor, at this point in time, I understand that you're posing no objection to that.
I'm going to sustain that objection, Mr. Albert. Is there anything else you want me to know about visitation of child support for any reasons you can think of whether protective order becomes granted?
Yes, Your Honor, because everything that she's wrote is protective order. If I may respond to, I've broken this down in 10 parts. I've, not the kind of guy that writes out a speech and has to read something off of it. I'm, got a memory like a steel trap. I can remember what somebody told me when I was 3 years old, and it's very troubling that the word kill was used on this. So what needed to be there to make this happen? She was worried about Judge Roper not giving her this order. She's been over here so many times. The court clerk took her 30 minutes to print off all the stuff from these other protective orders that, I'm sure we'll be going, through. It's, thick, as a book on the, stuff that's written in the past, and I've proved that.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevant.
Okay, I'm gonna sustain that, Mr. Albert, we really need to focus here, and, is there anything else in particular that you would like me to know? No disrespect, but you know, you've been rambling. Really need you to give me specific information that's relevant. That
I'm trying to do the, protective order that, she's, written a 5-page statement that, seems to be more rambling than, anything I can, talk about. You know, with the way it's written, Mark Albert, read it and said that it contradicts itself in so many, ways. Have you read what she wrote on that one?
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Albert, you know, tell me what you want.
Okay,
And
okay,
tell me in 2 or 3 sentences, okay?
right,
Then I'm going to let you go back to your seat, okay? All right.
I'm gonna be careful with these 2 or 3 sentences, because I want, you know, to respond to 5 pages of, this with 2 or 3 sentences is, hard. She, talked about an incident, with me going to Fort Supply for, schizophrenic paranoia. Just wondering why somebody would leave their child with, a father that has schizophrenic paranoia morning, day, and night, if, that's what, they, believe. I think that, there's been stuff written on here, Your Honor, that, you know, I think you could clearly see through, the deception. That's all I have to say. Go ahead.
Okay, you read it, I believe it.
Yes.
Mr. Albert, you're entitled to call witnesses if you have any. Do you have any witnesses?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Dylan Mark Albert.
Who?
Dylan Mark Albert.
Mark
It's
Albert?
their adult son.
Okay. Is he here?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
Okay.
Is he in a program?
Yes, he is.
Apparently so.
Well, Judge, I did not get a chance to ask for the rule, but Judge, I would object. If I'd have known he was here, he was going to testify, but having heard everything actually, I don't want to put a child through this no matter if he is involved.
Well, I can certainly understand your feeling. The rule was not invoked, and therefore I want to let the witness come forward and testify. Sir, will you raise your right hand and be sworn?
Do you solemnly swear to testify truthfully?
I do.
Okay. Please take the stand. Mr. Albert, I'm going to allow you to ask questions. I understand that you're not schooled in law, and I understand that probably your question will not be skilled as you expect from a lawyer. However, I'm going to require you to ask questions that are relevant and to the point. I'm not going to let you go far afield, okay?
Yes,
So
Your
make your
Honor.
question short and to the point, please.
I'm trying to, stay within any kind of rules you allow, Your Honor. I just,
You may inquire.
has to be, since it.
Ask your question, please, sir.
Dylan, have you ever, saw your mother, do things that, scared you?
Yes, I have.
You ever saw her, do things that, scared you, that's, being, around your baby sister?
Yes, I have.
Do you know of a, incident with, Eddie Elrod that, has happened here lately, Dylan, that, he, can't even come in the courthouse for his, actions here without a, escort for the rest of his life? She's, told, that she's, friended him, that family video after not seeing him for 10 years, and, Dylan, do you know of, anything, reason why I would, be afraid that this Eddie Elrod is back in her life?
Yes, I do.
You think that he could be a danger to your little sister?
Absolutely.
Do you think I've provided more than my fair share, to this, household, Dylan?
In recent months, months, probably not as much as he used to, but he used to be the primary carrier.
You mean primary, breadwinner, then the primary caregiver, this whole year,
Objection, Your Honor. He's going to testify on that.
that's not justifying.
Is that your question, Mr. Albert? And you have your question?
Who do you think should, have custody of, your little sister, Dylan?
I don't know, I think that you're both a little unstable for full custody, but as far as visitation rights, I don't think that they should have to be supervised.
Thank you. Did, Ally tell you that she was sleeping on the day that this, kill word was, used, that she told her not?
Yes, she did, she told me that she didn't hear anything.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Your belief, Dylan, is, 57 minutes fair and, 40 days for me to, see Ellie, and, maybe if your mom has time for me to talk to her on the phone?
Objection, Your Honor, that's relevant. Ask for an opinion, it's not public.
I'm gonna sustain, I'm trying to ask another question, it's more based on facts and.
Yes, Your Honor. Dylan, do you remember, writing that statement out in front of Mark Albert 11 years ago?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember, us talking about, when you were 2 years old and, she had fell in love with a guy by the name of Dean?
Yes, that's irrelevant.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
You've heard her, talk to you extensively, is that correct, about, what happened to our, child before we were born, right, Dylan?
Yes, I have.
And, about, what you clearly, wrote this statement out, in 2004 in front of, Mark, that, it was, so shocking.
Mr. Albert, I think I sustained that objection, so you're not gonna say
Just trying to get to the, part where, if he believes that, his sister could be in any danger from, any, future actions that, this bipolar, disorder that she has.
Just asking that question, that's what you want to ask.
That's what I wanna ask you.
Ask it outright, please.
Think that, your little sister could be any danger from her, talking to these married men for 4 hours in our bedroom with the door locked and her, driving drunk with your little sister?
I think the actions that she's done recently are kind of irrelevant to the situation, but as far as bipolar disorder and kind